Hooligans, please be seated for the commencement of the shenanigans. I was totally ripped Frank off on that one. He put that up there. It's pretty funny. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope all's going well.
How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land?
Living the dream. But like Sarge says, nightmares are dreams too.
That's been this week.
I know, right? It's been crazy. This
crazy week, and I don't even work. I'm retired.
For me, it's that new location. The drive back and forth is like, oh.
So who are you by the?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, it's me,
God.
Mike, the Scale Model Outlaw, and these are my awesome co-host and producer.
Jason from Klein Race Car Designs, and then up here,
I'm Bruce, and Bruce's Eclectic World.
All right. Well, we got some
welcome.
We got some pretty cool guests today, so we're excited about having them on. But do we want to just jump right into the? Hey, boss lady's here. Tighten up, boss lady's here.
Up. Everybody behave now.
That's it. You guys want to jump right into the shout outs and go from there?
Let's get to the shout outs because we'll blow through this hour pretty fast here with the guests that we've got on tonight. So
amen.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's mine. I'm up first.
Yay! Wait, machine.
Good buddy TJ. TJ's got some really cool builds. Go over there and support TJ. I love watching all his videos. I'm trying to catch up on some of his videos right now because I'm way behind on a lot of you fine folks. But go over there, check out TJ's modeling bench, and give him a shout from the AMC show. Tell him we sent you over that way, and support him if you haven't already subscribed.
I found I was not till I went to do this.
TJ's a great guy. He's a supporter of the show. I was fortunate enough to hang out with him at Acme last year. Lots of fun, cool guy. He's kind of crossed over, and he can correct me, but I think he was more of an aircraft or possibly armor builder, and has recently got into cars and is doing a great job with his channel over there. Great guy, super nice guy, very informative. Lots going on. So yeah, tell him we sent you.
And next one.
Oh, the Scale Model Experiment. Yes, Mr. James Tester. Big fan of him and his show, and but his channel, I mean, I'm sure you guys know who he is. He's been around a long time, does some great work. What he did with that Hoonigan Mustang, if any of y'all have gotten the file, I don't know a lot about the file, but I ordered some stuff, that was printed from that file, and it was very blocky, very chunky. You 3D printer guys probably have a better term for it than I do, but James went in and cleaned that file up and made it really cool, and that made a really cool Hoonigan Mustang, and everything he does is very good work. So y'all go over there and check him out too. Really good guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I did a follow along with a 40 Ford last year with him, or year before last. It was, he can build faster than I can for sure.
Yeah, he definitely gets them together, but he doesn't skip. He's not making shortcuts to get there. Everything he produces is really nice.
Absolutely
stuff.
Awesome. And it's pretty decent.
When is their show? Is that on Mondays or Tuesdays?
I probably should have done a little bit of research on that, but I believe it's Monday. I'm with you, Jason. It's either Monday or Tuesday. Really cool show. They do kind of the same thing that we're doing, or similar to what we're doing. They have a live chat where people come in.
I'm going to say Monday.
I think you're right. I was going to say
I don't remember what day it was, but I'm pretty sure they had Craig Corner on.
They did. So, I'm going to say Monday too, because Tuesdays I listen to the JR Salvino's deal. So I think it is definitely Mondays. And they did have Craig from Craig's Corner on there, this last one. And, of course, awesome. Craig is awesome. Anyway, he does the 48-hour group build, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been a part of a lot of group builds. He's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Good dude for sure, yeah.
And next one's mine, imagine that. This is a Texas Garage. I just watched a video of his today. He was doing a tribute to Joshua VGC Resin. So
cool.
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Josh, VCG Resin. I don't know if I'm familiar with this name.
I don't know.
You guys ever heard of him?
No.
He's the guy that's friends with that really cool guy, Chris, right?
Right.
Chris who?
Chris from Scale Speed Garage. Yeah, that guy is awesome.
Oh yeah, that Chris.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. Yeah.
So
I think that's what he is.
That's the really rich guy that keeps moving into all these houses.
Right?
Yeah.
Big stash.
I heard that he has a really organized hobby room as well, but we'll have to see about that.
Hey, there's a rumor to that.
There's a rumor to that.
Anyway, Tex is a retired truck driver, and he has lots of neat stuff. And I was looking for a video because I remember seeing it where somebody showed using thread to make the beadwork around seats, and he's the guy. So
Nice.
if I sub to him, run over and give him a like, share, subscribe, tell him we sent you, and that's all we have.
That picture of his Peterbilt there with that flatbed trailer out, he looks like he might be in Utah. I'm going to get maybe Colorado. That is a beautiful picture of a one-to-one.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
And Peter built a truck for a man to drive. There ain't no doubt about that.
Yep.
Well,
So anyway, I want to. Well, go ahead, Mike.
no, I was going to introduce our guest, but if you got something first, let's.
Well, okay, yeah, we're going to have our guests, and to be totally fair, I was having trouble coming up with a what do they call it, infomercial or whatever. Anyway,
E-flyer.
yeah, whatever. Anyway, so I went to their group build and stole all the pictures.
Good for you. Good for you.
I couldn't figure out what else to do. So anyway, I'm on the wrong screen to be doing this. So we're gonna go ahead and play the intro. That's it, intro.
That's it.
And
Beautiful.
then we'll bring the guests up. Sure.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh from VCG Resins and his super cool friend Chris from Scale Speed Garage. You guys don't already know.
Oh, sorry. I must have had a bad connection.
Hello? Wow, are we reaching?
Getting out there. If you guys don't already know, these two guys are the sole sponsors of the AMC Livecast, and we are so proud to have them on our team. And looks like we got something to announce for you guys or help try to spread the word on. I know I'm excited about it. And I saw that Volkswagen just now for the first time. I'm like, somebody's doing a Volkswagen? That little rabbit's gonna be really cool.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see Joe's Corvair.
The Corvair should be cool too. Yeah.
Joe's Corvair, and then there's a gentleman that's on the Facebook by the name of Tyler that's doing a Plymouth station wagon. So it's a resin body. Really cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, there's some really cool bodies out there that I can't wait to see. Some fat tires and big engines sticking through the hood. I'm excited.
Well, yeah, and we knew that we were going, we had talked about doing a build off or a group build for a while, and we knew that we were going to have these Pro Stock parts coming out, and we're like, okay, we should do a Pro Stock build. But then we're talking about it, and it was like, yeah, but everybody and their mother has seen a Pro Stock Mustang and a Pro Stock Challenger, and what if we made part of the challenge, make it the weirdest, wildest freaking thing you can put a Pro Stock chassis under?
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree 100%. When I saw that, and of course, in your advertisement, you got the little e-car with the big tires. I'm like, that is, of course, my mind being the guy that I am, I went straight to the 76 Pacer. I've got a body. I'm going to make it happen. And I no more than thought about it and looked on the site, and somebody already using the same kit. So I found a different one to go with. But it's cool that it's going to be something completely different, something that you wouldn't expect it to be. That's awesome.
Yep. There's been some really good selections. You know, I gotta admit, there's some cars on the Facebook page that I just didn't expect anybody to Pro Street. So that's cool.
Hanscom's Ferrari. You guys see where Hanscom's doing the spaghetti and meatballs car?
That's one that really sticks out to me is the Ferrari. And, you know, technically we're calling it the Pro Stock effing everything, but let's be real. It's pro something effing everything. You want to pro street it, pro street it. You want to pro stock it, pro stock it. Some big
I hope Pro Mod works because
Pro Mod
it.
Pro something effing everything.
That's it. That is such a cool idea that you guys came up with that. Something different, you know, shake things up a little bit and have some fun with it. And you're not putting a lot of restrictions on there, you know, just have fun with it. Do what you want to do. A VCG product. I mean, it's easy enough, right? That's super cool that you guys came up with that, man. A great idea.
And that was something that we wanted. Like, we didn't want this to be a rules build, right? We're not going to be opening the NHRA rule book and looking through the rules to see if it qualifies. It's more about style, I think, you know, for us. So
agreed.
The main thing is the big tires.
Chet, I think Jason probably can answer this better than me. Certainly can answer it better than me. The difference between Pro Stock and Pro Street is basically the tires, right, Jason? Am I right?
Well, Pro Stock is an all-out drag car. Pro Street is something you drive on the street. So
there's more to it than that.
Yeah, a lot more. I mean, most Pro Street cars for the average person is going to be a 2x3 square tube frame rail.
Okay.
You know, more streetable, more of a, not a radical 4-link, not light bolts, not half-inch bolts, big 3/4-inch bolts, all that heavy-duty stuff.
So they're playing by a rule that or a spec book, if you will. They have to have this, they have to have that.
So when you talk Pro Stock Racing, NHRA, like Chris brought up NHRA, the specs on those motors are so tight on cubic inch and all that stuff that everything else they want to try and shed. So if you're going to drive it on the street, it's got to be durable for potholes.
Right. I'm going to go with Frank's definition: the length of the skid marks on the passenger's underwear.
Pro Stock car, there wouldn't be a passenger. So,
yeah, that's funny.
It's fun. Leave it to Frankie.
Uh-huh.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, fat tire and everything. There you go. That's a good name, Don.
And if you guys are watching this and thinking, oh, that sounds like something I'd love to get in on, don't worry, you haven't missed but, you know, a couple weeks of the start of this, and we're running it through the end of the year. Both Josh and I looked at each other and said, are we going to have time to finish a group build? I know I'm guilty of always starting group builds and never finishing them. And so we decided to stretch this one out through the rest of the year. People have lives. People have other things other than the model bench. So you have a good long time. You can enter anytime. So if you're thinking that this sounds like fun, please, by all means, join.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those long-term group builds is a good idea, because for me, for sure, because I'm already behind on one that I said I was going to get done in a year, my own group build, and I didn't get it done. So, and I'm still working on my USAC car. So, God dang. But those long group builds, at least you don't have an excuse when you don't get it done, because you had plenty of time to do it.
I don't know. For me, it sometimes it gives me more time to procrastinate, because I think that I have 6-8 months to go, and I'm like, I'll go ahead and start that here in a couple of months. And then it's like 3 months before the deadline and I start it, and inevitably I never finish.
That's
Yep.
it. Guilty the same way. And then you end up with 2 of them on your desk. You're like, I've got to get these done so I can move on to the rest of them. And I thought for sure I'd have my little roundy round card done by the end of April, but that didn't work out. But you start getting into it. Like Jason said earlier, behind the scenes, you start chasing rabbits, right? You get in, oh, I want the doors to open, or, oh, I can't do this without this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And fortunately, especially with the group build that we're doing, and I'm sure you guys as well, if you come in a little bit late, who cares? Just have fun with it. Post the pictures up. They're not going to take the page down and completely ignore them the day of, right? Heck yeah, have fun with it.
So Chris had mentioned that we weren't going to be real sticklers on rules. There's 2 rules that we are going to be sticklers on. The most important rule that we're going to be a big stickler on: have fun. Have a good time with the build.
Amen.
That is rule number 1. The other rule, you have to use a VCG Resins part or a part printed from Scale Speed Garage files. So if you have your own printer and you're not a member of Scale Speed Garage, run on over to Scale Speed Garage, get signed up. There are tons of Pro Stock parts there that you can print out for your own build. If you don't have a printer, you don't want to deal with all that mess and everything, come on over and see me at VCG Resins. We have plenty of parts to get your Pro Stock build going too. Those are the only 2 rules we have.
Amen. And as the guys that are hosting it, I certainly think that's fair, totally fair. And again, getting back to the whole it being different, that really mixes it up. Because like you said, we've seen the Mustangs, we've seen the Chevelles. Let's do something completely different. That part really is what intrigued me to get involved. I'd always would do whatever I can to support you guys, but that was like, yeah, now I need to get involved for that for sure, because that's cool. That's just way cool, man.
Yeah, like Josh just said, go check out vcgresins.com, and he's got a lot of parts that you can purchase for your build, chassis parts, all that stuff.
And really that answers, Dean asked in the chat if we had a recommendation for a Pro Stock chassis, and since you have to use some of our parts, by all means, go check out the one that Josh is offering. It's a Scale Speed Garage file, so if you guys do have printers or if you're members, you already have access to that file. If not, Josh is selling them. He's doing the back halves and the front clips. So
cool stuff. Yeah, I've got the back half kit and the front half kit, so I'm excited about those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, all those awesome motors. He's got some great motors over there. Those wrinkle slicks, dude. Those things you guys did such a great job on that. Chris, was you designing them, and Josh, you printing them out. Those things, I just got mine, and it's the first time I'd seen them on the when you were on the first time. You guys were on the first time. They were just getting ready to come out, and then I've seen them on your page, Josh. Now I finally got them in my hand. Those things are freaking cool, man. That is just really, really cool. I love how it's wrinkled through the writing on the side of the tires, and it looks like it should, right? That is so cool how you guys did that, man. It's amazing.
That's cool how that guy did that.
Right,
that guy over there did that.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I'm still not sure how I pulled that off, but
you made it work. Listen, fake it till you make it. Sometimes that's the way it goes, right? You got to fake it till you make it.
Yep. Josh, a question for you that I actually don't know the answer to. This isn't just one of those fake questions I'm throwing out for the audience, but are you offering the back halves in both leaf spring and 4-link version?
No, just in the 4-link version.
Okay.
Not in the leaf spring. For anyone that is in the group build, if you're on the Facebook page and we can verify you're part of the group build, please send me emails if you need custom tailored things for your build. I will help you out. I can't offer all of those specific, general, special size parts to everyone out there. But if you're part of the group build and you need some special stuff, please send me an email at vcgresins@yahoo.com, and we'll figure out what we can do to help you out.
I can vouch for that without spilling the beans. I can say that I got a double secret part that I can't talk about, but he definitely hooked me up with that as well. Same thing as what he's talking about. You know, he had time to make it, and it's really, really cool stuff that'll be part of my build. So we're excited about that as well. But that double secret 007 stuff is really cool.
Yeah, Dean, like he said, just take some measurements and send it to him, and he can try and help you out with that.
Yep,
for sure. So besides the group builds, guys, what have y'all been doing? How many shows you been to? I know we haven't talked to you since y'all show in Colorado, right? We didn't get a chance to talk to you since then. That's been a couple months ago, so it's maybe a little bit of old news. But how did that go? That was your second show?
It was.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Good times.
Yes.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, as Josh is now the president of our model car club, I'm going to let him tell you about it.
Oh, wow. You got both. Congrats, man. Congrats.
Thank you. You know, for our second show, I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. The venue that we have, that we now also have locked down for next year. We do already have a confirmed date for the 2026 Mile High Open. The venue is our absolute dream venue. I can't think of a better place to hold a model car show than in a transportation museum surrounded by classic cars. You walk in and it smells like a model car show should. It smells like styrene and paint and old cars and oil and gasoline. It's
hell yeah.
Just a great event. I'm really looking forward to the 2026 event. We had a lot of great people come out this year. Chuck and BG made it out from Arizona. John Boyer made it out from Oklahoma. We had quite a few out-of-staters make their way to the show, which, you know, that really speaks volumes that our club is doing good things. I can't say thank you enough to every single one of the members of our club for all of the help that they gave in putting this show on. It certainly was not a 1-2-man show. It took the entire club to put that show together. So a huge thank you to all of our club members if you happen to be watching. A huge thank you to everybody that came to the show and all of our sponsors, Iceman Collections, Lucas C Products, Scale Finishes, VCG Resins.
Don't forget that Scale Speed Garage guy. We don't like to talk about him, but he's there.
Just a great show. I'm really excited for the next one and give you guys a little bit of insider info. There might be something coming in September also.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Nice.
We are talking about maybe doing a second show, not necessarily a full judged show. We are thinking maybe more along the lines of a caffeine and styrene type thing.
Nice.
Like Ricky did. I heard that was a good show. Ricky heard he had really good luck with that. Not to chase rabbits, but I'm currently talking to, or I should say, to be completely honest, emailing back and forth with the people at Don Garlett's Museum, which is right down the road from my house. And I'm thinking about trying to figure out, they've already said yes to an outside venue, but I don't want it to be outside because, especially in Florida, it could rain. It could rain anytime, right? So I'm trying to figure out what we can do about maybe getting inside, but hopefully we're going to make one of those Ricky type shows happen. Some like that caffeine and styrene. I like that. The cars and coffee thing was cool, but caffeine and styrene is the same idea. But so hopefully that'll happen. But So September in Colorado?
Correct.
Ooh, the fall. It'd be nice up there. It'd be a little cool, but it won't be freezing butt cold.
We're giving you that little teaser so that maybe some of you guys can start making some travel plans.
That's pretty cool.
You got, when we get off here later, you send me the dates for the one that's confirmed, for your third annual. I'm trying to get out that way. I really am trying to get out that way. Acme is definitely going to be on my list. So that kind of puts the September one out for me, budget-wise, because Acme is in October. So it's kind of, you can be kind of close together to make those kind of trips. But I want to do that one. I want to do NNL East as well. But we'll see what happens. Bruce, did you see where Ted was asking about the Facebook link? I saw you were running a banner. I would just make sure. Ted was asking about the Facebook link to the Pro Stock every thing.
It's in the description.
Okay, so it'll be in the description. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it.
That's fine. That's fine.
Let me see if I can find it. I should be able to do something, right?
I'm grabbing it now.
Oh.
I got you guys. Now, if I can just find the right browser window again.
Right.
There we go.
Outside of Dungar, it's just not ideal. I've been there and done that. Yeah, it's not, Tim. You're absolutely right. Inside would be better. And just to answer your question, Tim, that you asked earlier, yes, I have been to shows that you were at. And we had a lot of fun. And then you made me didn't make me, but encouraged me to walk around that junkyard down the road from Acme. And oh my God, it's a really cool junkyard. It's got cars from it's been a junkyard since the 20s and 30s, right? So there's cars everywhere, all kinds of cars, but it's not even a junkyard anymore. It's a tourist attraction. You pay to get in and you just walk around this thing, right? And there's cars everywhere. I'm talking about, I saw 3 Grabber Mavericks. Now they could never be saved. They're so far gone, but it was 3 Grabber Mavericks, some old school, Mopars. That place is really cool. Junkyard City or something like that. Tim can maybe remember the name of it, but you can Google it and check it out. It's a really neat place. But
Bruce, want to put that comment of Stevens up there for Josh? Or Josh, can you see that?
Yeah, he's asking. You got it, Bruce? Bruce is probably working. Bruce, you mind if I grab it?
Is that
right there?
I'm on 3 different screens at one time.
Yeah, I can see you were busy.
Stephen, that is going to be opmclub.org.
Old Car City, that's it. Old Car City, Joe. Good call. Yeah, that's it. That place is amazing. Great times for sure. But we're kind of chasing rabbits with that one because that's the Acme show. But I'm definitely going to try to get out there next year. I know, Josh, you and I talked about it. BG, Matt, and all of them are planning on coming to the show next year.
Correct. I believe Mr. Joe from Big Sky Model Workshop, he's planning on coming down from Montana. And Tex from Texas is planning on coming out too if he can. So.
Yeah, I'll have to try and put that on the calendar. That'll be a lot of fun.
How far is the venue from, say, the airport? Could you Uber it, or is it something that, it's a little bit more than that, or what do you think?
You could 100% Uber it. I don't know. It's probably, what do you think, Chris, about a 45-minute drive from the airport?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Not too bad. That'll be... So it'll be March 28th, 2026. That will be the 3rd Mile High Open put on by the Outcast Plastic Modelers.
March 28th. I will put that in my calendar. The only thing about the Denver airport, I flew in there for Moab. I went to Easter Jeep Safari. Josh, I know you're familiar with that.
Yep.
I landed at one terminal. And they were like, okay, my buddy's calling me. He's like, okay, I'm over here. So he's picking me up in his Jeep. So I'm like, okay. I asked the lady, how do I get from there to there? And she was like, oh, you just go down here and over there. I didn't realize that the terminal I landed in, the Denver airport is huge. It's overly huge. I was in Kansas.
Yes.
And had to walk to Denver to get to where I was going. That place is, I was like, oh my God, this place is huge.
It is massive. Yes.
Yeah.
I believe by land area, it is the largest airport in North America.
I wouldn't doubt it a bit.
Yeah,
You get on a train to go anywhere.
I've had many layovers there. There's plenty of things to do while you're waiting for your next flight. So
yep.
Well, Bruce, if I'm not mistaken, it's about that time. Even though we have our awesome sponsors on, we still got to pay our bills and run those commercials.
let's run them.
Yeah.
And I gotta go out there. So I'll be right back.
How about some more? Let's run them all.
One more time. No.
Hey, we should host another group build sponsored by the podcast.
Sure, but it needs to be a race car this time.
Yeah, something that can race on asphalt or dirt.
And night and different types of weather. That would be pretty cool.
And can fly.
Wait, what?
What you talking about, BG?
Hey, I got it. Rally cars.
Yes.
What date should we run the build for?
How about January 31st? It can start and go to December 31st. That's a good amount of time.
Sure, I can work with that.
Okay, but I gotta say, I'm a little concerned about the defying gravity thing. I haven't had much luck in that lately.
Join the Scale Model Car Podcast 2025 Rally Cool Rally Car Group Build and build that rally car model kit that's been sitting on your shelf ever since you brought it home from the hobby store and said, I'm gonna build that one day, because now is your chance.
I'm so happy that Bruce ran that third commercial.
I got one more.
Those pit times are slowing down, buddy.
I know, right?
I'm gonna run the last one, huh?
Small bladder.
I want to remind everybody that we are doing our first annual breast cancer awareness 24-hour group build, October 11th, 2025, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time. That'll run in conjunction with Bob's Model Works, Chris Cortell Annual Cancer Awareness Group Build, which runs from October 1st to October 31st. A link is in the description for that one, so check that out too and sign up for his. Also in the description is a link to the GoFundMe page I set up for the American Cancer Society. We're going to take donations the whole time we're building, and you can start now if you want. But all the proceeds are going to the American Cancer Society, so any help you can give would be greatly appreciated.
What a great group build there as well. Yeah, awesome. Great of them
That's
to do
going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. Long day.
Yes, 24 hours, baby.
I don't think these old eyes can do that.
Lots of coffee.
Get you some toothpicks to hold your eyes open. What was that old cartoon that used to have toothpicks and then the eyes would get so heavy it's not toothpicks?
Is that enough?
There you go. Look at that. You got him a bunch. He's ready to go. Look at that. Leon's in the house. Billboard Bill. We got a fun. DJ told me I needed to get a Gatorade bottle. No, I'm good now. I'm good for the rest of the show.
Yeah, we got 51 people in there. Sweet.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice.
Really good. Tiffany's in there. Sam, Donnie,
Tiffany, Dirt Road Cinderella.
Chet.
I'll take a minute to say hi to everybody in the chat.
Yep.
I'm not really watching the chat tonight, guys. Sorry, but
it's moving pretty good. That's for sure. That's good though.
I did see Tiffany talking in the chat about maybe taking a train to Denver for our show next year, and we do have an Amtrak line that runs to Denver. The Union Station, the train station, isn't that far from the venue, so
how cool would that be? To ride a train. She lives in like New Hampshire, Maine, that area, somewhere over way up in the Northeast. That would be a heck of a ride. That would be cool.
Yeah.
So is there a lot of hotels near the venue then?
Yes, so the venue's fairly close to downtown Denver. Downtown Denver can be a little pricey, and much like downtown anywhere, there's areas that are not necessarily the greatest, but I would say within 15 minutes in any direction of the venue, you can find some nice hotels and good places to stay, eat, all of that. It's really centrally located.
Awesome.
So those of us that haven't been, myself included, the venue, what is it? Is it like a moose lodge? Is it? I mean, tell us a little bit about the venue.
Go ahead, Chris.
So the venue is called the Forney Museum of Transportation, and they've been going since. I don't want to give bad information here, but I believe they've been going since at least like the 1940s or 50s. They've moved spaces a few times. They're kind of now in what they consider to be their forever home, but it is a museum dedicated to the history of transportation. So it's not just cars and trucks, but they have old tractors, they have airplanes, helicopters, bicycles, motorcycles, and one of the sort of centerpieces of their collection is they have one of 7 remaining Union Pacific big boy locomotives, all like 130 feet of it inside the building.
That is so good.
It's a place that I've been going to since I was a kid. When the venue where we had our first show announced that they were probably closing their doors and we needed to find a new venue, the Forney was the very first place that came to mind to me as, you know, hey, this would be, like Josh said, like, this is a dream venue. But the more we started talking with them, and we realized that our club and the museum really share a mission. Our club's mission overall is to expand the modeling hobby, especially with younger folks, but really anybody that maybe built when they were younger and hasn't built in a while, or people that have never built. Really, our mission is to advance the hobby, to advance appreciation for the art and design that comes along with, cars, whether they're 1/25th scale or full scale or anywhere on either side of those. And the museum's mission is very much the same way, and especially geared towards the younger generations. And so what we've been able to do is not just have this as a place where we're having our show once a year. We have been able to forge a really strong partnership with the museum and help them bring some programming back to the museum that is geared towards the youth. So we don't just do the once a year show and this, second Cars and Coffee that we're talking about doing, but we do a monthly make and take day for the kids every month at the museum. Kids can come in. It's totally free. We supply the kits. We supply the tools, everything else that they need. We supply the expertise so that kids can come in and just build a model of a cool car and take it home. And so that's been a really cool thing to see develop is how we and us in the museum can really work together in kind of our shared mission to reach the community. So
that's awesome.
It's turned out way cooler than I ever expected it would when I first had that thought about having a show there. So
we're super proud to be hosting 2 make and takes this month. So we do our normal monthly one, which is the second Saturday of every month, but we'll also be doing one on Memorial Day at the Forney Museum. and we're the club and my wife and some of her coworkers are also starting to work with the museum to start a make and take program for some of the groups that come through with developmental disabilities.
Okay.
They get a lot of groups like that come through the museum, and I think it's a really great opportunity to just expand our reach in the community and just reach out to more people and expose them to modeling, expose them to something a little bit different, and hopefully keep the hobby growing and thriving. And
yeah. So, a question on the make and takes, because that's something that we're talking about doing more up here. There's only one show in Minnesota that does that. But one of the shows that I help out with, we're looking at make and takes. What is the time frame roughly you think it takes somebody to put one of those kits together?
So the time frame, if they're a first timer, depending on the kit, we're trying to use a lot of the real easy snap kits, some of the AMT slammers, and we've been using a lot of the 1/32 scale Aoshima snappers. I would say if it's your first time, maybe 2.5 to 3 hours. Taking their time. We run our events for 2 hours. The attention span starts to go away after about 2 hours. So we kind of figure that the 2 hours is right about the max of what they can take. Anything that they don't finish, we send home with them and the parents, and they can finish it up. We encourage them to bring it back the next month so that we can see that they finished it up and see their work and see how they progress. So a lot of times when you're doing those make and takes, you're probably not going to have every kid finished, Jason. A lot of them are going to end up taking them home, but for a once a year event, that can be kind of tough to see them again. We're real fortunate that we have the opportunity to see them again the next month and help them along more if they need it.
We want to try and incorporate it on a weekend car show. So we're trying to figure out what kind of space we're going to need to get from the car club to, if it takes, say, an average of 3 hours, how many seats do you need to have, right? That's the thing that we're trying to, if it's possible to, get enough seating for, say, 20 kids, that's the huge thing there is the space. So
yeah, because you kind of have to double the seating because you have to take into an account a parent, guardian, and someone from your club or whatever being there as well to help them out. The make and take that we did at our show in March, the majority of the participants were able to finish, but that's just because the show was a little bit longer of a time span. But the majority of them were able to finish their kits during the show time.
Nice.
You guys are having a very informative, thought-provoking conversation. Have you guys looked at what Chris and Tim Kalenkowitz are talking about? They're trying to figure out how to lower a buffalo and put a blower on it.
I know. I've been watching that one. This is interesting.
Thank God that Jason and Josh were having a very informative, very good conversation. These guys.
I had pulled the chat up and I saw something about a buffalo category. So apparently we've expanded on that.
Yeah. Leave it to Kalenkowitz.
The thing is,
like I said, Josh is the president now. That's his job to have the serious conversations.
If anybody's going to build a Buffalo model car, it would be Tim.
It would definitely be Tim. It would definitely be Tim. That is so cool.
I'm going to want to see that Buffalo car when you come out here, Tim.
Go one more, Brucey. Billboard builds. Chet's question.
Okay, there you go. Oh, there you
Billboard Builds, that pretty much nails it. Resin is both types of printers definitely have their place. The filament printers are going to be better for things that are like functional. If you want to print some modeling bench organizers or shelf brackets or those sorts of things, a filament printer is definitely going to be your best bet there. But they just can't achieve the same level of surface quality and fine detail that a resin printer can. To answer kind of the second part of your question, from a strength perspective, a body certainly could possibly be better with filament than with resin, although there are some really great resins out that have a really good strength characteristics and everything else. But the issue with doing that would be with filament printers, because you're building up, with like melted plastic in layers. Those layers are thicker, and so you're going to see layer lines. So if you were to print a body in filament, you're going to have a ton of prep work to do to get that show ready, even build ready, really. A ton of sanding or a ton of high build primer and then a ton of sanding. Really, the only time I recommend a filament printer to somebody in the model car world for doing actual models and parts for models is if they're like a quarter scale or eighth scale builder. Then they're just going to flat out need the size of a filament printer. The other sort of related discipline is if you're an RC car person and you're looking to print stuff for RC cars, filament's probably going to be a better way to go for most of that stuff as well, just because of the strength advantage.
Josh, I think I bought that twin, I think Black Box came out with a design. It was a COE cab over with the twin motors in the back. I ordered one off of eBay because nobody that I knew was printing it. And I think I may have sent you a picture. I know I sent Joel one, and they did it with that type of printer. And I not knowing, I didn't know any different. Oh man, that was. I mean, I called this person back, and I was like, apparently I didn't read deep enough, and they made it right with me. But there's no amount of sanding. I mean, yeah, I guess in theory there's enough sanding and enough primer filler that you could do, but no way would it be worth the effort, worth the work that you had to put into it, And I really want that thing, but yeah, it was crazy. You could take your thumbnail and run your thumbnail over it, and it like guitar strings. I mean, it was that bad.
Actually, funny enough, something that people do in the filament world to smooth out a filament print is they'll buy a bottle of 3D printing resin and brush on resin and then hit it with a UV light just to fill in all of those layer lines.
Yeah,
you would have to. I mean, you get a print from VCG, and you might be able to see just a little bit of wave lines, or maybe printer. I don't know how that works or what it's called. But you throw a coat of primer over it, it's gone. I mean, there's so very little work that you have to do to get these things to look amazing. And I've said it before, you got Josh from VCG, and of course he gets his plans from you, and Joel and Matt from MCV. These guys, those are the three. To me, that's the big three, is what I call the big three. All right, you guys are the in my opinion, the three best out there. If one doesn't make it, the other one might. And you get one from any one of those guys, you're getting a quality product for sure.
Oh,
of course, with Josh being our sponsor, we go to Josh first.
Thank you. That means a lot.
It does. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there, your eBay guys. And that being said, and I know you would want to touch on it, Josh, and Chris, I'm sure you want to touch on it. We want to bring it up again to our people in the chat. The pirating thing, that whole pirating thing is so hard on these guys like Chris, who spends the time to design this stuff, Josh, who spends the time to get this stuff printed out. Just because you see it cheaper somewhere else doesn't mean they're probably ripping somebody off. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. And I'm going to let you guys expound on that because you know more about it than I do. But cheaper isn't always better. And think about what's going on when you're stealing from Chris or stealing from Josh or whatever. You guys want to expound on that?
Sure. Actually, if anybody is an Auto Modeler magazine subscriber, my whole column in the upcoming issue is about how to buy smart when you're buying printed parts, and that's a couple things that we touch on. Actually, Mike, the seeing pictures of the actual print, not just renderings before you buy, that's a big one. And then we do kind of go in a little bit to the piracy issue, and I think that it's something that a lot of people still just don't have an awareness of, and I don't know that it's always malicious, at least at first, right? With how inexpensive printers have gotten, you see a lot of people jump in and they get really excited and they're gung-ho and they say, you know what, I think I can make money at this, and they just start going and buying files, and maybe they're not really reading the descriptions in the files that they're buying, and don't see that that most of the designers are saying, hey, you can't use this stuff commercially, or if you'd like to use this stuff commercially, contact me so we can work out an arrangement. And I think some people just jump right in and don't really realize that there are real people on the other end that that takes money out of their pocket every time that they do that. Then there certainly are some other guys that fully do it knowingly, and that's another issue altogether. But
what would you say in your opinion, what would you say the percentages are between the two? The guy that's honestly made a mistake and the guy that's doing it because he could think he can make money out of it? Your honest opinion. 60-40, 30-70, 50-50?
My
60-40 maybe.
60-40?
That's probably about where I'm at too. Is about that 60-40, 70-30 range.
And listen, and here's how, in my opinion, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but here's how it affects the hobby. If Chris spends the time to design something, and he goes out of his way, makes it and gets it as detailed as he already does. I mean, he creates awesome files. And what I know about files, you can put on the head of a pin and put a square dance around, but I know Josh prints them out and they look freaking amazing. So if he's spending all that time and then somebody is cannibalizing it or selling it at a lesser price, what's his motive to continue to create those awesome files, right? So if Chris is just a small percentage of all these other designers out here that are facing the same thing. So what happens is the designer's like, I'm not going to create them anymore, or I'm not going to put them up for people to be able to get them, or I'm only going to make them available to XYZ. And now they have a monopoly on the market or whatever. But my point being is those guys, we're stealing from ourselves when we do that as hobbyists.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reality. Like, I love what I do, and I like wake up every day excited that I get to play with model car stuff for a living every day. But I'm not like getting rich off of this. I'd love to, but I'm not, right? So it's like there is always this constant, well, I could go make more money with my skills doing that, so that's exactly it.
Eventually it's got to make market. Yeah, it's got to make sense.
If you want the aftermarket to thrive, then you have to support it,
Yep. Yeah, that's just it. It's got to make sense for you. Your time, your money, what you got invested. Same way with Josh, and that's why we want to support these guys that are doing it the right way. And I'm not saying, like you said, there's that 40% that are making an honest mistake, but you can usually pick them out pretty quick. Especially if you start looking at their products. Mm-hmm. I fell into that trap, right? I didn't with that whole cab over dual V8 thing. I fell into lesson learned, right? Done. If it doesn't say VCG on it, or Iceman, or MTV, or even Texas 3D print, I'm just not going to do it. I don't. Lesson learned on my part.
And that's not to say that some of these guys that don't have websites, some of your eBay sellers and that stuff, that's not to say that they're not making nice parts. The quality, we all know quality varies vastly in the aftermarket world.
Absolutely.
There are some guys making some very nice parts out there. There's some guys making some not very nice parts out there. The bigger picture, much like you guys said, isn't just how it affects us individually as the vendors. It's how it affects the hobby as a whole. Because if you're not supporting those that are supporting the hobby, they're not going to be there to support the hobby anymore. And this golden age of modeling that we're living in again right now, with everything that's available to us, that can all go away real quick. And I don't think any of us want to see that, because we are absolutely thriving right now. And I think we have to continue thriving by supporting everyone throughout the hobby, supporting them in the right ways, in ethical ways, with integrity and morals. And
I agree 100%. You know, if this guy sometimes pay an extra $1, 50 cents, whatever it might be. Listen, if you think you can outprint Josh at VCG Resins, you can buy the same file that he's getting from Chris and outdo him. You know, and but don't mass sell it. But I'm just saying, you know, you can say, hey, look, I got one. Remember, I did a better job. You pop your collar. Or you can be like, yep, Josh has definitely put in the work. I'm just going to go ahead and buy from him. I mean, it works both ways, you know. But at least you're buying from the guys that created it, and you're supporting the hobby. Because if you don't make it make sense to the VCGs, the scale speed garages, then they'll go away. They'll have to go away, because they have to find somewhere else to put their time and effort, and that steals from us as a group.
Well, so this has been a subject that I've been really passionate about for the last few years as I've been building a business in this space. And I see, you know, not only myself getting ripped off, but I see other designers that are creating great stuff and doing really cool work also getting ripped off. So I have been working on a thing, albeit slowly, but I started a nonprofit that I am hoping to turn into the industry association for anybody involved in the business of scale modeling, 3D printing, whether that's on the design side or the printing side, with the vision of having an organization that can educate designers on how to better legally protect their stuff and practically protect their stuff, educate printers or people who want to become printers on the licensing and the sort of the legal and intellectual property things around doing so, and then also educate the consumer on some of those issues, and eventually provide essentially a list, almost like the Better Business Bureau, if you will, for printers, where people can, if they want to buy 3D printed parts, they can go to the website and say, okay, who are the trusted vendors that are providing great product, excellent customer service, and who are doing it with integrity and honesty and not ripping anybody off. So, yeah, it's been something I've been working on when I have free time. I don't have a lot of that, so it's going slow. But if you want to check it out, we do have a website up. It is scale3dp.org. There is a contact on there. If what we're doing sounds like something you also agree strongly with, and you want to donate a little bit of time to kind of help us get the ball rolling, we would love to have you. But yeah, again, that's scale3dp.org.
There was a question that was brought up about the whole China thing.
Yeah, TJ asked that. Unfortunately, TJ, a lot of it, a lot of our materials that we use in the 3D printing world are sourced from China. A lot of our consumables, like the resin itself and the liners that we use in the bottoms of the printers themselves, all of the components for the printers, yes, they all come over on the boats. And
So I asked that question because I have, and we don't do politics here, so we won't get into it. But we all know about tariffs and all that silly stuff that's going on. Yep. But my question is, we'll use Chris for an example. So there's a 3D design that comes from over here that he couldn't make here, something very similar or as good or very, whatever the cases may be. So it's an apples to apples comparison, but he couldn't do it here because of the price they're doing it there. Does that not create a market for you, Chris? So the Japanese stuff, the Asian stuff doesn't come in. Does that create a market for you to be able to produce it here? Or does it, and the same question to a resin creator, does that create a market for somebody here in the States to start creating resin? I mean, I'm asking because I don't know.
I think potentially. I've been looking at this very much like it could go both ways, and I think it will, kind of balancing the scales, I think it will have two kind of opposite effects on at least what I do. Is it may drive more people away from buying more and more new kits and trying to maximize the stash they already have by 3D printing or buying 3D printed parts for what's in their stash. It may also kind of drive people towards wanting to just print entire kits, entire builds. But at the same time, like Josh was saying, the resin comes from China, the printers come from China, and so those are going to presumably go up in price as well, which is going to hurt people looking to go that route. I will say I was on Amazon today, and a lot of their printer prices are still where they have always been. So I think they haven't exhausted through their inventory on a lot of their printers that is from pre-tariff times. So if you were looking for a printer, there's probably no better time to get one than right now. But yeah, at the end of the day, the resin's still going to come from China. Even if there's a company that pops up and is making the resin here in the US, guess where all of the ingredients, all of the chemicals that go into that resin come from?
China.
Yeah, and that's why I asked you that. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's going to change the hobby. But I'm going to hold out hope that it might take us in some cool new directions, just like COVID did, right? COVID kickstarted our hobby back into what's now our golden age that we're in. So, I'm at least, maybe it's foolish, but I'm at least choosing to be optimistic about the future. So
think positive, get positive results.
Yep.
Exactly.
But I know that Zoom On, and this, Chris, is probably directed to you more than anything. Zoom On has shut it off, right? I've watched the videos, they've shut it off. But I assume that they make it over there. Now they got designers or whatever. But does that, in a way, possibly open a door for a Scale Speed Garage to start designing that JDM stuff, which is basically what we're talking about, is JDM stuff. And does that open that door for you, or is that just,
that door has always been open to us.
Right.
And we've done some JDM packs in the past. Right. The issue for me is just, at least from where I stand, and I think Josh is kind of in a similar boat, is you have this kind of tightrope that you have to walk of like, there are, everybody out there wants a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, there's only so much time and energy and resources to devote to this. And so you kind of have to stay on the tightrope and kind of try and design the stuff that's going to appeal to the largest segment of builders.
Mm-hmm. And from my standpoint on that question, Mike, I personally wouldn't be super gung-ho about trying to step in and take over the US market of what Zoom On or someone like that has been doing. My hope is that we can all welcome Zoom on with open arms.
Sure. Idealistically.
I don't necessarily want to replace any of the producers that may not be able to get their product here in the US easily right now. I hope that we can get to a point where we can welcome them back with open arms and they can continue to thrive like they have been.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. We're not trying to take away. It gets right back to what we were saying about the piracy thing. If these guys created it first, and so be it. But if the market goes away, I've just always, and I feel like this across the board, no matter if it's car parts or whatever, if you take a market away, a supply away, and you still have the demand, that's economics 101, right? Supply and demand. If you pull the supply away and there's still a demand, somebody's going to pick that ball up. Now, are you going to pay the same prices? Maybe not, but you're still going to have your supply, and that might be the exchange that you. Because listen, we got two bulls, the China and Trump. They're going to bump heads. I mean, like I said, we don't get into political stuff, but those are the big bulls that are racking horns right now.
If it comes to a point to where, Zoom on just no longer does business here in the U.S. ever again, and they simply become a overseas type product, then I think that does open the market up for Chris, myself. It opens the market up quite a bit for some stuff that we've been doing. Like Chris said, I think there's a lot of positives that could come out of this as well. So I kind of get what TJ was asking there, and I think some of us that have kind of known what was coming for a while, we've been prepared for it, and I'm not going to let any of that slow down my business as usual.
That would be my next question. I mean, how does it affect you as the end producer? I know that Chris can produce stuff. You saw this coming. You're stocked up. You're ready to go.
Correct. Right now, it's not going to affect me at all. Right now, it's business as usual. I've been prepared for this. I've been ready for it, and I'm ready to take it on. So
sweet. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I feel like we're definitely a little over an hour into our time. I feel like I've dominated the conversation, so my apologies to Jason and Bruce. I'm going to go ahead and shut up and let them ask you guys some questions.
Chris, did you want to share something? Screen share?
Oh, sure. Yeah, if we have a few minutes here.
Let's show the people, especially with the group build here.
Yeah,
show me too. You told me you've been holding out on me. Show me too.
I'll show a few things here then. So for the group build, share screen. Yeah, we'll share that one there. So for the group build here, this is the Pro Stock chassis that we're talking about. If you're a Scale Speed Garage member, you got this file a couple months back, but Josh is carrying not the entire chassis, but we did also offer it in just split form with just the tube front clip. And so you can see here, we've got an engine cradle. We've got adjustable suspension. You can adjust this forward and backwards. There's also two different ride heights of front suspension that you can choose from. So you can really kind of dial in that front stance, how you like it. And then Josh is also offering the back half. This is sort of taken loosely off of the AMT Nova that everybody uses for the back half. But this one just brings in a lot more detail. And we did a 4-link setup for it. I don't have all of the little brackets and stuff showing right now, but this is a 4-link setup, and the links are actually on pivots. So if you don't like the ride height that we have it at, you can scratch up some longer shocks or whatnot, and pivot your axle down and get the ride height you want. So that is the Pro Stock stuff for the group build. The most recent file pack, which we just dropped on Sunday. So this is our 50th file pack that we've released for Scale Speed Garage. And so I wanted to go big for this one. So we have another part to this file pack coming later this month that's going to be a complete kit. But part one of the file pack is a complete build. And it is this fuel-altered drag car. It comes complete with the Ford 427 engine, the blower, the scoop, the carbs, all of that stuff, the chassis. Just a few cool things to point out here. Just like the 4-link on the Pro Stock chassis, the front suspension, these are pivotable. So the front suspension has some suspension travel to it. The wheels, the front wheels are posable, so you can turn those left and right. And the tie rod and the drag link and the pitman arm, those are all pivotable too. So when you turn the front wheels, your steering linkage will turn just like it would in the real world. With that. Comes with all the interior goodies, the seat, the butterfly wheel, the dashboard in there. Comes with this old school tack with shift light. The wing, if you build it in a certain way, if you glue the wing struts just to the wing, they'll kind of clip on to the roll cage, and you can pull that off so that you can display the car with the body on or the body off. Nice. I'll hide the body there so we can see kind of what's going on inside. Cool. We've also got some other cool stuff up front here. A fuel tank. There's a cool can in there. This is a racing only version of the 427. So there's a cam driven fuel pump, no water pump, no alternator. Then if we kind of hide the turtle back here, you can see the rear suspension. We're dropping a little bonus pack, which is coming with the wheelie bar, the chute, the turtle back. But the rear suspension does also pivot. Now the rear shocks kind of lock it into place. I was trying to make the rear shocks functional. It just was looking too far out of scale to get the clearances we needed on the shock to really make it practical. But it comes with the wheels, the tires, everything you see to build this fuel-altered car.
That's cool. That's so cool.
Now, if you're a Scale Speed Garage Pro or Elite member, a little bit later on this month, you're going to get a bonus pack that has the world-famous Ford 427 single overhead cam motor, which was another very accomplished drag racing motor, and that'll drop right into this chassis as well. That one's going to have Hillborn injection with stacks. We're also in the sort of supplementary pack that we're dropping probably tonight or tomorrow morning for everybody. Are two other transmission options. So the first file drop came with the C6 transmission. We're also dropping a Ford-O-Matic and a 4-speed top loader, plus all of the engine mounts you need because it kind of changes the suspension or the driveline geometry. So it'll have all the bits and bobs to use any of those transmissions here as well. So, like I said, this is only one of 2 complete buildable kits that Scale Speed Garage members are going to get this month.
That's awesome.
So,
really? Crazy Scale Models asked, I wonder if that chassis would fit other kits. I'm sure you could modify it, or make, if you want to do a little bit of scratch building or kit bashing, I'm sure you can make it work wherever you want it.
Absolutely. And the body, I will say, let me see if I can find the box here real quick. There it is.
Every time I talk to you and we have you on this show, Chris, I keep thinking about getting me a printer, and then I'm like, no, I don't know.
We'll turn you to the dark side one of these days.
One of these days.
I'm going to stop my screen share. So the body for this kit is developed off of the T-bucket body that comes in this kit. So if you got a T-bucket body sitting around, it'll fit. I'm sure you could use it with, like a Revell Model A as well. The chassis and the roll cage are pretty narrow, so they'll fit in a lot of stuff.
Cool. That's really going to be neat.
I did just want to throw a shout out real quick while we're still on the subject of this kit. I wanted to mention Ryan Voyer from Scale Auto Model Works. He's on Colts 3D. Josh and I have this really great partnership, and so we've really kind of begun sort of this collaborative design effort between him and I. And so some of the parts on this come right from him. Other ones come from him, and then I kind of make modifications to them. But Ryan's been a really great person to partner with, a fantastic designer, and just a great guy in general. So I couldn't do all of this in the time that I have without him. So
yeah, he does some really nice work. I bought in a couple of his files on Colts over the last year or two. So
he does great work.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, Chris, you brought up a guy that we all think a lot of at the Auto Modeler magazine. So I want to give a little reiterate to him. Scott, we had him on the show. Great guy. Yep. And, of course, you get to see Chris's articles in there. And Josh is what is your title that you have? You definitely advertise in there, and your stuff is in there as well. So that's awesome. Go in there and check those guys out. But Chris, your articles are really impressive. I don't know if I should bring it up or not, but I heard there was a tragedy. I heard there was a tragedy was it coming home from or going to Denver?
Going to Arizona. Yep. The day before we left for Arizona, Josh and I went to the Desert Scale Classic last month. I bought one of those nice Harbor Freight gun cases that's, carry-on sized, has the foam inside that you can remove bits of and sculpt to fit whatever you're doing. I had these models packed pristinely. And we just happened to be in like the last boarding group to get on the plane. And when we went to get on the plane, the lady said, "You can't take that on. We don't have room." And we went back and forth 3 or 4 rounds of "you can't take that on." And then me saying, "You don't understand. The stuff in this box is irreplaceable. And it is fragile and it is handmade." Finally, I was forced to gate check my case. And when we arrived in Phoenix, it had clearly either been opened or come open somehow, and model parts everywhere. If you're an Auto Modeler magazine subscriber, you saw the fantastic 3D printed truck from D Models that I built up. That was going to be its first real show that it was going to. Destroyed.
That's heartbreaking, dude.
I was heartbroken.
I saw that in the magazine, and I was like, "Oh!" And then I heard the story, and I'm like, I felt so bad for you, and then and everything that goes along with it, not just the show and revealing it and but the time you spent and how disheartening that had to have been for you, man. Okay, it's never happened to me, but I feel you, man. That would suck so bad.
It cut deep. I would say I want to give Josh a shout out because I probably was not the most pleasant to spend time with most of that weekend. I was just pretty down in the dumps. But I will say this, and I think I said it last time we were on the show, is to me, this hobby is all about the community and it's all about the friends you build. And we have some fantastic friends in Arizona, and somehow those friends still got me laughing and having fun that weekend. So
how can you not laugh and have fun when you're hanging out with the likes of Chuck and BG and those guys?
Matt, Marv Alvarez, all those guys. That had they not been there, well, truthfully, had they not been there, I probably would have just turned around and come right back home. But they made a pretty awful weekend, at least tolerable, if not a little better. So.
Woo, we are running past our 1 hour tonight, but you said that, Jason, early on. You're like, this hour is going to go by fast, and you were 100% right about that.
Yep.
But, do we want to go ahead and check out, or you guys got some more questions?
No, I'm good. Let's get to. We got people checking out as it is.
Yeah, I see them checking out in the. Yeah. So, Chris, we'll start with you. Do you want to make any more plugs? Do your thing. We're doing whatever it is you want to promote, talk about.
This time I'm just going to plug the friends in the modeling hobby. If you have a friend in the modeling hobby that you haven't talked to in a little while, send them a message. Say hey. Say thanks for being a friend. That's what I got. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Josh?
I'm going to follow suit with Chris. I mean, you guys all know where to find me. I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone in the chat, and a special shout out here to Chet from Billboard's Builds. Thank you very much for sending me the shop card. It did show up last week right after your email did. So thank you very much for the shop card.
Chet's a huge supporter of this show, the Scale Model Car podcast. He shows up everywhere. He's a great, 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 great guy.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Go build a model with a friend.
That's it. Build a model. What it builds.
Yep. So Leon just said too. Everybody, thanks for being a friend. Yep.
That's
absolutely.
Right. All right. Who's next? Jason, me? I can go if you want me to. I'll go.
Go ahead.
All right. So I just wanted to echo what Chris and Josh said and thank those guys again. Thank you guys again for being awesome sponsors of the show. We definitely appreciate you guys. We look forward to all that new stuff that you guys got coming out. This group build that you got is going to be amazing. Looking forward to being a part of that. Want to give a shout out to our fellow podcasting guys, Scale Model Car Podcast and the Insanity Podcast. Y'all go check them out. And obviously my fellow co-host Jason and our awesome producer Bruce. We appreciate you. And again, the chat, you guys are rocking tonight. It's good to see everybody. And be kind to others, be safe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep, I just want to reiterate what everybody else has kind of said too. Thanks again to everybody in the chat. Without you guys, this is not possible. This is what is cool about this community is all the great conversation we've got in there, even some joking around about buffaloes and having fun. But this type of show like this where these gentlemen can come on, talk about their group builds, try and get people amped up about model cars as a whole, all the great products that we can all enjoy in this day and age of modeling. I mean, 20 years ago, we didn't have this stuff. So get out there, support all the great vendors, and have fun building model cars. Bruce?
I mean, what can I say? You guys said it all. I just want to, again, thank all of our people in the chat. There was like 56 or 7 at one time. Thank you, because you guys are ones that makes this show. We do the best we can to get awesome people like Chris and Josh on here and get you the great information you need and answer the questions and make friends and just build models and save the fingers. Good night, everybody. One of you.
Good night, everybody. There's your big old thumbs up.
Thank you, guys. Happy modeling.
Bye.
Peace out.
Red button push.